So here we are. This is the table as it stands now. I need some cubes. So if you remember last week, this is very different than what I had last week. So to show off a few mechanics, first of all, our characters are like so, a little bit different than they were before. Basically, they just have an ability on the character card, and all 5 of your artifact slots are open. My player deck here has 8 cards. I am going to play as the Delver this time. The Delver starts with this spear axe, and where's my crossbow? So copy that, copy that. All right, and then these go back into the loot deck. So, what else? There is. Oh, did I flip those wrong or something? Okay. Okay, cool. So, what's new? Instead of madness, there's now food. Whenever I do a reshuffle, I lose 1 food for every 10 cards in my deck, rounded up. So the game will punish you for getting more and more cards in your deck, but more cards means that you can go longer before I have to reshuffle. So there's kind of a push and pull to it. Now, artifacts, you get artifacts when you go down floors, as well as for certain events in the decks. And you can see that my deck is now separated in 7 areas, or 8 areas really. Each of these areas has a certain level or depth, and that tells you how difficult it is, and then a number of keys. That's how many keys I need to unlock this zone. All right. Finally, there is a store here, and the store has items for sale. And so there's a new action I can do, which is visit the store. I made a critical error, and I didn't put the cost of these items on the cards in preparing for this live stream. So we're just going to treat all the cards like they're 400 gold right now. Every card in your cache is 100 gold. They no longer have individual values. If you cache a card, it's 100 gold. All right. 4 seems a bit steep. Let's do 3. 3 to start out with. If it's too easy, I can hotfix it. But so this is the very first test of V4. So, yeah, is there an easy way to know how many cards you have, or do you count each time you forgot? You count. What's it? Actually, I need to run back a little bit. You pay 1 food for every 10 cards in your discard pile. So even if I have 20 cards in my deck, if I reshuffle with 10, or if I reshuffle, it'll only cost me 1 food. If I reshuffle with 15 or with 16 or 17, it'll cost me 2 food. So I can get more cards and I can get a larger deck, but it's more expensive to reshuffle that larger deck. So that's how it goes. There is a steal the items option. It's hidden in these decks, but let's go there. Let's get to that in a second. All right. So the Delver's ability. Each time I unlock a new floor, I gain 1 food. Super basic. This is the base game. All right. No special rules here. So what can I do? So on my turn, I can explore a zone. So to do that, I look at the top card here. I spend the number of keys that I need, which is 0. I can remove this, flip it over, there's a little prologue text, and then it disappears. Cool. And now I have this dungeon available to me, and I can look at the events under this. And this is actually flipped face up. So this is so whatever's on here is what I have right now. So my first encounter here, this ore vein, I can traverse this, and I can cache this in the top 2 cards of the loot deck to basically get free money out of this. I don't like this encounter. I don't think I have the traversal for it. So what I'm going to do is I'll search, which puts this on the bottom of the deck, boop, like that. All right, and then I have another traverse encounter. I will search through that one again because I'm not too great at searching at traverse at this point. All right, and I'll encounter my first enemy here. This Scrabbling Horror. It's weak against weapons. So let's give it a go. I'm probably going to take everything I've got to beat this thing, so I'll just do 8 cards. I'll go ham on it. Oh, I got to create my hand zone. Zones. Okay, wait, I do have a hand zone. I just need to change my color. Alright, much better. Cool. So I'll take 8 cards, and now I can play everything I got. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that defeats it. I also got 2 lanterns. Lanterns let me cash a card from my hand or in play. I'm going to go ahead and cash 2 punches. So these will go poof poof with my 2 lanterns, and that brings my deck down a bit, and that will help save me food in the long run while getting rid of some of the less useful cards. All right, cool. So that's 8 there, and I defeated this enemy. So this enemy goes to my key pile. So now I have 1 key. I need 3 to unlock other things. All right, so this is a traverse encounter. Let's take a rest. So I'll spend a food. I'll reshuffle 10 cards, or rather 1 food for every 10 cards rounded up. So that's 8. And now I can do this traversal encounter. So the way traversal encounters work is you flip 1 card, and you look at the type at what it has. In this case, this has no symbol. The punch cards are supposed to have this symbol on them. So this is punch. It basically wants me to find 2 punches to do this climb. I'm gonna keep going, so I can keep flipping until such time as A, I find the symbols it needs, or B, I choose to give up. So there's the second punch. That cost me 4 cards, which go down to my discard, and I can add this to my key pile. Alright, and finally I have this other enemy, Cave Scorpion. This is a 6. I got 4 cards, I'll throw 4 cards at it. Cool, and then I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It looks like it's hit me, so I'm going to take a wound. The wound will go to there. I will use my lantern to drop another punch out of my deck. Alright, so I failed to beat this monster. Alright, but I do have 3 cards in my cache now. I can buy a thing. So let's see. Machete seems pretty good. So I'm going to spend my 3 cards from cash, buy this, it'll get replaced by another card, and oh, now I'm late for that. Alright, so shuffle that up, and that cost me 1 food. Okay, so let's see. I hope this is all making sense so far. I may be glazing over a few things because people have seen it last time. So if you have any questions about what I'm actually doing in this game, let me know. All right, so what have we got here? Got to beat this Cave Scorpion. I'm gonna put 4 cards on it again. I think I can beat it with 4 cards. All right, in this case, no. I got another 4, and I got 2 lanterns. All right, well, I'm gonna get rid of another punch in cash. This guy is really rough. I managed to beat the tough character, and I can't beat this one. Let's just keep searching then. I'll just put him on the bottom, and we'll see what else is there. So what's this? Aggressive. You must attempt an aggressive encounter if 1 or more available. So now I have to fight this. So Marco was asking, so do we no longer get loot? You get loot through caching cards, and then you spend those cash cards on the shop to get loot. So that's how looting works in this game. It's not an every turn thing. All right, I'm gonna beat this guy. I'm gonna draw 4 cards. I'm gonna beat him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and defeat it. Cool. So now I've spent 3 keys. Or now I have 3 keys, rather. And so I'll go ahead and spend these. So when you spend the keys, they go to your cache, like so. And I spend 3 keys, and I'll unlock... let's unlock... Sure, Subterranean Necropolis, right? So what happens here? This flips over to reveal, or rather, this whole zone flips over. And that last card there was the boss. I'll shuffle that up, and now I can continue traversing this zone. Alright? But I have some money. I think I should buy another thing. I need some sustained damage, so I'm going to buy this dagger for 3. Alright, and those things go to trash. Alright. So now I can encounter either of these two that I want to, and they both become keys. The more difficult zone is generally a little tougher, so let's try and beat this guy. He's weak against weapons. I got 8 cards in my deck. I got my whole deck here. I think 6 cards would be enough. I'll try and defeat him. So I draw my 6, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 0, and a 0. So here's what I'm doing. Play this lantern to cash this wound. I'm going to play this lantern to cash this other lantern because I don't need 2 lanterns. And then, and then all that will go to my discard pile. I'm having a pretty rough time of this one, but the balance of the deck is different than last time, so who knows. This looks pretty good. I'll spend 3 and I'll get this pole arm. This will make all the difference. Yeah. The shop is just a practical term. I guess we would say, like, we could call it base camp or something like that. It's the, it's the surface, if you will. Alright. Well, I'm not going to beat this guy on 2 cards. I'm going to take 1 card, and I'm going to put this down here. So I'll bury that one. Alright, so now I've encountered this trap. So this is an aggressive trap. I must attempt the encounter if it's available, so it's here, so I have to attempt it. I'll just take 0. I take 0 cards. I did not hit an arcane, so I bury it now. Whoop, and take a wound. So, what have we got here? This is the boss for this zone. And if I can beat this boss, I get a, what do you call it? I'll get a new artifact. So let's try and beat it. See what happens. First off, I need to eat food. And I don't think I got a food back. When I unlocked this zone, I got a food back. So I'll get my food back, spend it to reshuffle. Alright, this boss has 8 life and 9 life, so it takes 2. This is true. It could be nice to refresh the shop. I don't know. I think you don't want to do that too often, like as often as I'm buying things, because it's very, it's nice to be able to plan a little bit. Oh wait, so burying it costs 3 cards. So what that means is if I choose to not encounter it and try and put it on the bottom, so if I want to bury it to the bottom of the deck, it would cost me, I'd have to burn 3 cards off my deck instead of just 1. That's what that means. I don't think I'm ready to fight this guy just yet. I'll go back to the newbie zone, and I'll take 6 cards. I'll take 7 cards against this enemy. Alright, cool. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I beat this guy. Poof. Put that in my keys. And then I spent way too much on that encounter. But that's how it goes. That's the trick of it all. You gotta be careful with your resources. Rats. Can I beat rats on 2 cards? Not after everything that I just threw away. So I will do another reshuffle. I'm going through food really fast. But that's okay. This is going to be a quick game. So I'll take 4 cards on this rat. And I managed to beat him with these 2. I don't want to lantern any of those. Yeah, if it's aggressive, you can still run away. But it's, yeah. So I feed that guy. Poof. Alright, and I know that I still have some pretty good cards in my deck, so I think I can go 1 deeper and kill this Cave Scorpion at last. So let's take 4 cards against him. Alright, and I got a pole arm and a punch. That'll be enough to take him out. Alright, boom. Alright, so I have 3 keys again. I can unlock a new thing. Let's go for Sunless Lake. Alright, and cool. And that moves all my keys over here, and I recover a food. And now I can buy a thing. What do I want to do? Let's take... I think I need some splash damage, and I definitely need an arcane attack. So I'll take this for 3. Alright, cool. And then let's drop this. That was 7 cards, so I'm still fine. Alright, spend 4 keys to gain an artifact. That doesn't seem really good. Let's try and take on the boss. I think I could beat this boss in 6 cards. 6 cards. Sure, 6 cards. Alright, cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I won't need to draw another one. Do I want to lantern this punch? I do, because I want money. Alright, so I defeated this boss. This boss is 8 half, but I still have the other half to try and beat. With the last 4 cards on my deck, I'm going to beat this rat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easy mode. Boom. I think that talking about like the deck, the shop refresh, it would be something like spend 1 card to refresh the shop. It needs to be something you choose to do, right? You don't want it to be an automatic effect. That kind of filtering, there's no need to do that automatically. I'll spend a food, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. All right, and I'll try and take out the second half of this boss with 7 cards. And here's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Defeated. So when the boss is defeated, he comes over here as a boss key. And if you look at the final zone of this dungeon, I need 3 boss keys to face the final boss. All right, so that's a thing that I can do. And that's my ultimate goal, is to get any 3 boss keys, fight the final boss, and clear the dungeon. All right? And then after that, the total cards in my trash and my deck and my cash will become my score. All right, so let's, I guess, continue on. I could beat that because I have the acid in my deck that I bought recently. But let's, well, first off. Do you win with victory points? So yeah, the specific requirement to win is to beat the final boss here, and when you unlock this zone with 3 boss keys, it flips and just becomes a boss. All this zone has is 1 final boss, and when you beat that boss, you have won the game. And at that point, you tally up all your equipment and everything and see what your final score is. But just winning the game is an achievement. You can see here I'm 1 floor in and I'm already down to 2 food. So it's not super easy to win this one. But when I beat the boss, I do get an artifact. So I'll flip over 2 artifacts and see what they are. So this, once per encounter, I can spend a food for 4 power. That's pretty nice. I don't have to lose against the monsters anymore, but it will cost me food. And then I can gain a wound and gain any card from the shop without paying for it. Let's take that. Okay, so this is the rob the shopkeeper card. Right? So now I can rob the shop at the cost of a wound. Can you fight more than 3? Yeah, you could fight all the bosses if you wanted to. Don't really recommend it, but you could. So let's do that. I'll take a wound because I got plenty of wounds, and I'll take another card. And I will take another wound and take another card. All right. So now I am. Ooh. You know, I better take this other one, this Molotov. All right. So, yeah, you can actually play this game with 4 players at once if you wanted to. What happens is you all share the food and you all share wounds. There is a limit on wounds. There's 7 cards in this pile. Each time you miss a encounter, each time you fail an encounter, or each time you try to rest and you don't have enough food, you take a wound for each food you're missing. And when you run out of wounds, that's a loss. So, yeah. So let's keep going. Let's traverse further. I think I can beat this, so I'll try it. So I'll flip for that. I didn't hit it, and then I'll flip again. The dagger is supposed to have this weapon symbol, so I'm going to count that as a success. So I can, instead of taking this, I can take 3 money, but I want the key, so I'm going to take the key. And then these are gone. And now I have 15 cards in my deck, so it's actually going to cost me 2 food to reshuffle. And if I run out again, I'm gonna have to take wounds to reshuffle. So yeah, so it gets tougher and tougher. So let's try and beat this thing. I think I can beat this. So I'll search for that, and I'm looking for that poison symbol. All right, and I hit that, so I will clear this. Now I've got 3 keys. I could open the last zone, but yeah. Can you still okay, let me answer your question. How would you all collaboratively do encounters? So with the encounters, you can each throw cards. You can all throw cards in, but you all draw at once. And then and you could just solo an encounter as well. But you all share food. You all share wounds. Can you shoot the food? You can if you are the hunter. So the hunter's ability here is he can, when you clear a combat encounter and you don't have 4 mutations, you can gain a mutation in 3 food. So you can kill a monster, and then you get one of these things. These are called mutations, and they basically lock up your artifact slots, but they give you additional bonus powers. So he can eat monsters up to 4 times while he's in the dungeon. So that's one of the characters you play as. Antiquarian here, he actually has a hand of cards. He draws 10 cards, and he plays his hand, and then he spends a food to shuffle his deck together and draw 10 new cards and play another hand. So it's a very different kind of play style. Unlike characters like the Delver that can go deeper and get a larger deck, if you have more than 10 cards, this guy, there's a chance you just never see some of your cards. 4th character, Tinkerer, he cycles his deck, so every time he does a draw, he loses a card and gets a new card, often at random. And then last one, Waif, can only carry 1 food, but reshuffles the whole deck for 1 food. So that's the difficulty curve in the game. You can play 4 of these characters together. But yeah, so that's the basics of 3rd Cross. I am probably about to die, so I'll just keep going until I die. I could spend 3 food to gain this altar as an equipment, but that's no use to anybody, so I'm going to cycle it. And I can fight this monster probably on 4 cards. Let's see. All right, there's 3, 7. So boom. And I've got 4 keys now. And I've got 9 cards in my deck. Dead shopkeeper. Here's another rob the shop. I can take an item from the shop, so let's do that. Let's do this. Let's take this compound bow. Alright, and if I do, place this card in the shop for free, or place this card in the shop in the slot, and that slot never replenishes. So this slot is gone now. But I did get an item for free. So is 3rd Cross different from 7th Cross? Yeah, each of the different branches of this church has a different function. 3rd Cross are the Delvers, the church museum, and they go into all of these dark places in search of treasure and secrets. So that's them. Whereas 7th Cross is hunters, and they will go and fight monsters out on the surface world. So a little bit different. These characters are not necessarily fighters; they're explorers, and yeah, like our Delver here, they're more about dungeon diving than they are about hunting down monsters and killing them. Anyway, cool. So I'll take a reshuffle. So I've got 10 cards in my deck in my discard, so I'll take 1 food, which I don't have, so that'll become a wound. And then shuffle, shuffle. Alright, I've got 4 keys. What am I going to do? I can spend 4 keys to gain another artifact. Maybe I'll gain an artifact that the custodial group. I don't know. It depends on how you want to interpret that. I think, First Cross is the administration, so that would probably fall to them. But, I don't know. Alright, I'm going to try 4 cards on this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will burn a card for +2 power. So there's 6, 7. And defeat this guy. Gives me 5 keys, and I can now unlock one of the tier 2 zones. These are a lot tougher. So... Let's see. This one's got lots of treasure, so let's do that. So I'll spend 5 keys, Silver Palace, and get a cube. And then I now have 6 cash, so I should probably buy some stuff. Alright, I'll use my hotfix rule that Marco inspired, and I will spend 1 to refresh my shop. Alright. Spellblade, Adventure Disc. Church Brand is pretty good, and I got a lot of cards, so I'll take that for 3. Yeah, game-wise, these are totally different games. This one is a Dungeon Delver deck-building game. 7th Cross is a cooperative, story-driven monster hunting game. I would say it's sort of like... it's more in that Descent Gloomhaven family, if that makes sense. Alright, so... Oh, I can trash an artifact to gain 2 food. Alright, well I think I'm done with these lockpicks, so I'm going to trash this and get 2 more food. And then, by resolving the encounter, I get a key. That's great. Smasher Trap. This is an aggressive encounter, so I have to attempt it, so let's do that. None of those symbols. Alright, there's 1. Oops, what's that in my hand? So there's 1, 2. I know I got some wounds in here. 3. Alright, so it took me 6 cards, but I cleared that. This guy has 15 damage. Yeah, this is because we're all cooped up. This is something that I've been, I guess, working on in my spare time. I wanted to provide a, to do a solo game, something that people could play on their own. Because I'm starting to, I guess you might say, feel the advantages of such games in isolation. So, anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I'd like to make this module available for fans in our what do you call it, in our Discord. So after this show is over, probably tomorrow, I'm gonna put the module up, and you can try the game yourself and let me know what you think during our what do you call it, public testing, or not public, just in our general channels. Oh, so Marcus said, what stopped me from just farming one area? Nothing really. I could go all the way through one of these areas. I mean, my goal is to kill 3 bosses and get to the final boss, right? But there is a lot of good treasure in these areas. So if I decide to like dig deeper, like let's say I'll dig down here. Whoops, I'm not gonna fight that guy. So, or that guy. Or this rock slide. And now I gotta attempt this trap. So, whoop, I failed the trap. I take my last wound. So now if I take further wounds, I die, and that's also a game over state. I'm gonna eat 2 food. See, Marco, I already had all the treasure in that zone, and now you're convincing me to make foolish moves. Alright, I can beat this 15. I'm gonna take 10 cards out against him. Cool. Trash the top card of your deck, or cash the top card of your deck for +4 power. I don't care what it is. That's 5. Let's go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-ish, and then I'm going to lantern one of these wounds, and all the rest goes to discard. Alright, and so upon succeeding this encounter, I can spend 3 keys to gain an artifact. Let's do it. 3 keys and an artifact. Whoop. And the artifact I got, Nullified Hand. I can trash punches for power. Let's look at the other one. Wait, I've already seen that one. That was the one I passed on earlier. Alright, Hungry Sack. Whenever you gain a card, you may choose to cash it instead. Well, it's a little late for that. These artifacts both pretty bad for me. I guess I'll take the one that lets me trash punches, because that's all that is actually useful for me at this moment. I'll eat my last food. Oh wait, no, I have an aggressive encounter that I have to attempt. Actually, I have to attempt this too. I misplayed because this encounter is actually aggressive. I should have resolved this before doing anything else. If one of the encounters on top of any deck is aggressive, you have to resolve that one first. So yeah, so let's go ahead and resolve this. Blop, blop. Oh, this trap is going to lose me the game. Yep, that trap just cost me the game because I failed and I take another wound and I'm out. Should have spent 3 cards and just buried it. But there you go. So that is kind of how it goes. If I had defeated 2 more bosses, I could have gotten to the final boss and fought him, and then ended the game. But yeah, so I'll make this module available.